Test.
Right.
Good on you again.
Thank you. Hello,
Still here?
Long time no see.
Yeah.
How is everyone?
Yeah, all good. We just obviously had Timothy Castagna come off in the game. He'd obviously had sort of clashed in an issue with his eye. But he's had a scan and everything's fine and all clear, so that's good. Apart from that, everyone fit and healthy.
And to Jamie Vardy, okay to be involved again?
Yeah, Jamie's come through well. So yeah, good for him to get another 60 minutes.
You've lost a few times off the back of European nights, but you've also won and drawn, so there's no clear picture there. Is that something that is a concern when you had a really emotional night like that a few days before another game?
No, not at all. I think the last game was the first game we've lost on the back of a European game. Apart from that, players have been fine. It was, a really good performance from us last night. So you obviously have to re-energise and recover as best you can. We've, our schedule over the last numbers of weeks has, of course, been very challenging, but it's what you want. And of course, we will continue to play midweek right the way through to the end of the season. So, but no, we'll recover the players best we can. But obviously, we'll freshen it up within the team as well. But we always put out a team to get a good result.
I know that you're going to guard against talking about and actually doing in terms of putting all your eggs into one basket, given your position in the league and the importance of the Conference League. But do you see that in your players as well, that they still see the league games as vitally important?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a young squad as well. So a lot of young players looking to prove the point and the consistency in the Premier League. And that's our focus, that it's the next game. We go to Tottenham, which is, it's an amazing stadium. I'm looking forward to going there with the supporters there. We played there when it was empty and it was still a very inspiring stadium. So really looking forward to going there with the support.
You went there last time, didn't you? But then obviously the last game of the season, Tottenham wrecked your Champions League dream. Is there a chance for revenge? You can really seriously affect their Champions League dream?
Not really, no. It's at the end of the season, I always think you deserve to finish where you deserve to be. And our last couple of seasons in the league, the players have done remarkably well to be challenging in that position. So it just wasn't to be our last game of the season. Of course, we had an opportunity with 2-1 up, but it didn't work out for us. So we accept that.
What about your team talk, Ben? Reminder to them of that last season?
Not really. We've played them since. So no, it's not them.
I think Mark Twain said there are lies down lies and statistics. So I'm about to prove it with two statistics which say the opposite things. First of all, Harry Kane loves to score against Leicester, scored against Leicester more times than any other team. So stopping him again, vital.
Yeah, he's a world-class striker. Harry's proven that over the last numbers of years. I, of course, apart from against Leicester, I enjoy watching him play because he's so honest to the game. You can see he's a player that from a young player playing within the academy structure, how he's improved and how he's developed. And it's not by accident. It's through sheer hard work and persistence. And it's been great to see him over these last numbers of years. Be that consistent player at the very highest level, both, in terms of the Premier League and internationally. So I've got huge admiration for him. But of course, they've got other talented players as well. It's a team that's very well coached in the system that they play, clear structure to their game. And of course, they then have top players that can make that system very efficient, the likes of him and Son and these guys. They're big talents.
You mentioned those players, so now the contrary stat, which says they haven't had a single shot on target for the entire last 2 games.
Hopefully it's 3 with a bit of luck. So no, listen, they're talented, a very talented team, but we go there with confidence. We how we lost the last game against them, I will never know. You know, we're 2-1 up with 30 seconds to go, and you have the ball in your control. To draw a game like that is disappointing enough, but to lose it was it was incredible, really. So, but hopefully we can go and perform to the level that we have been, and let's see where it takes us.
Look like you've dried your tears from the crying over the price of Jose Mourinho.
Yeah. No, listen, he's someone I have a huge respect for, and I know through many years what he's liked. I think he was surprised that I was able to get it. So, but I have to, as I said, he hopefully enjoys it. He's a good man. He done a lot for my career, and it was just a gesture to thank him for that.
He really does know where you got it from. Is a top wine merchant in Leicester?
That was very hard. There was only one bottle of those, I believe, in the UK. So I have to thank my PA who was able to track it down and get it, and she done a great job. So yeah, hopefully enjoys it. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. We go to Alice now from Premier League.
Thank you. Afternoon, Brendan.
Hi.
You head into Sunday's trip to Tottenham on the back of 3 games unbeaten. How pleased are you with the confidence and the quality shown from your side right now?
Yeah, I think the performance level now has been much better. My only, I suppose, thing that we're looking at is, you know, even from last night's game, how we arrived into that final third of the pitch with the regularity and the quality. It's just about being more decisive and making those final actions count, and just making better decisions when we arrive there. But the overall performance with and against the ball has been good.
Talking of the final third, I know after last weekend's draw against Villa, you said you felt your side had played really well in the last couple of games, but maybe lacked that speed and attack. Of course, Jamie Vardy's return, really big for you right now, playing an hour last night against Roma. But given it is a really quick turnaround to Sunday, do you feel he'd be ready for another start, or recovery time, I guess, has to be factored in as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's plus all the games that we're having to play. So, yeah, it takes that little bit extra time to recover, of course. But we'll see how he is. The guys are back in today. They work really well with the sports science team, and then we'll assess it tomorrow and see where they're all at.
I know you've already touched on it, but the reverse fixture against Tottenham, of course, was a bit of a thriller, at least for the neutral, towards the end. But where do you see Tottenham's biggest threats coming this time round?
The same, if you look at, I think the new players that they brought in have settled in really well. They know the system. You can see that, know the system well. But you look at Harry Kane and Son, or players, their combination and their individual quality, of course, make a big difference for their team. And they've done it virtually for every manager that's been there. They score goals, they create goals, and they're of the very highest level. So anytime we play against Tottenham, those are 2 players that you really have to look out for. But of course, the team they've worked well. Antonio's come in, and like I said, he's been very clear in how he's wanted to play, and you can see that they're very well coached within that 5-4-1 system that develops into 3-4-3 when they got the ball. So it's up to us to play with the quality that we have been, and let's see if we can give them a problem as well.
With that in mind, you had the pleasing clean sheet in your last league outing against Villa. How important is it that you build on that heading into Sunday?
Yeah, listen, if you win the game 2-1, the clean sheet, of course, it's important, but it's not everything. You want to defend well as a team, which in the main we have. If I look at the goals that we've conceded recently and over a little period of time, they're just down to small details. The team not really getting cut and open. I look at the goal we conceded last night from a throw-in. So it's just a lack of concentration to be in the right positions, which then leads the team to have to chase, and then the space opens up. We've a few from corners, which of course has been an issue for us. But overall, the team isn't getting opened up so much. So it's just collectively being together and then playing the football that we have been playing.
Absolutely. You've played more than 50 games so far this season. I know you recently mentioned the fact that there's a potential there for a lack of energy due to, you know, the sheer number of games you've played. How do you look to stop, or I guess at least reduce fatigue, especially given how far into the season we are right now?
Yeah, it's at that part of the season, of course, when you're playing, like you say, for the ability to reach a final. So that always allows the players and lends the players that motivation to keep going because they've something to aim for. And always looking to prove the point. Of course, you're not training so much at this moment, or certainly the intensity of the training. So a lot of playing and recovering. But also, thankfully, we have a lot of our squad nearly back. We're only missing a few players out of what would be the full squad. So that allows us to refresh the team, give it that energy when I think it's needed. Because to play Premier League and to challenge in a trophy, you need to have a squad, and that's what we've tried to do. But part of the season where we've still got a busy fixture list to go over the next month, but it's exciting and the players would rather play than train, I'm sure.
Yeah, exciting indeed. Thank you very much, Brendan.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Isaac. We can go to Charlie now. Thank you.
Cheers, Johnny. Hi, Brendan.
Hi.
Obviously, you see players pretty much every day, but you mentioned you've got a young squad. Taking you back to last night, what did you learn about those younger players on such a big occasion?
Yeah, I was so pleased. Firstly, with the authority that we had in the game, right from the kickoff. We're playing against an experienced opponent, you know, who've used to European football, and there's so many of our players that haven't. And I see us grow in these types of ties, you know, and how we've been developing the experiences in Rennes and experiences at PSV. I just see a maturity within the team. And we get some players that have hardly played Premier League games, you know, that are making their first starts in the Premier League. So to go and play with that authority and that quality makes me really, really pleased. So yeah, it's something that we want to continue with, and the guys will get that through more experiences.
Does it give you even more confidence that they'll be able to replicate that sort of performance and handle what will be Jose called it a final in Rome next week? Does it give you more confidence that they'll be able to just adapt to that in the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Jose made a comment after the game last night, which I took a great pride in, because one of the things I said when I came into here was I want to be able to develop a team that can go into any stadium and play with no fear and play the game. And he mentioned last night that he didn't think we would change or sit back. We would go and play how we want to play, you know, and that's the beauty of the game. We can write our own story in the game. And so that makes me happy, that because to do that, you have to play with confidence. You have to be able to go and, feel that you can play in any stadium that you want without fear, and just go and play your game. And that's what we'll look to do when the game comes next week. And if we play to the level we did last night and be a bit more decisive, then of course we can be in with a great chance of reaching the final.
Last one for me. How do you park last night, prepare for Sunday? And I'm also curious as to how that works actually literally on the ground. When you've got a game of such emotion on a Thursday night, you've got a game of such magnitude on a Sunday at such a big stadium as well. How does between now and Sunday work? Like, how do you prepare for that? How do you train for that?
Yeah, well, the process normally is from my own self. I'll get back after the game and watch the game back, and then you get to bed around about 2:30 in the morning. Well, your adrenaline's still up from the game anyway, but you're trying to maximise the time in preparation for the next game. We arrive in here this morning. We do an MOT on all the players, make sure how they sit after the game last night. Some of the players, of course, that need that little bit of work, they do that. And then we'll prepare the plan for the game after this press conference. We sit with the staff and we go through and analyse Tottenham. And obviously I've watched a lot of football anyway, so I've got a pretty good idea of how they'll work. But our analysts and other coaches will come up with some more details, and then we'll prepare the plan and get ready finally tomorrow. travel down and play the game.
Appreciate your time. Wish you
Pleasure.
well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shall we go to Mark from RTV?
Good afternoon, Brett.
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
Okay, yeah, good, thanks.
I was just wondering actually how you were actually feeling. You mentioned there about what you do post-match on a night like that. You obviously go to bed quite late. Do you reflect on a game like that differently when you've had the benefit of different angles? You've watched it back on video, and generally, how are you feeling this morning about last night's match?
Yeah, sometimes when you watch a game back, you're never as sometimes as good as you think you are, never as bad. That's the reality of it. I think you're in the game and the emotion of it all. But I was very satisfied after the game, if not with the result, with the performance level, because I know that consistently, if you can perform well, over longer term, you'll get the results. And I was so pleased with like I said, the mentality in the game, the authority in the game, how we responded to going behind. And we're in a good place going into the second leg next week. So that's normally the process of it all. And but very quickly then and this is the beauty of it, you can't dwell on it too much. You think about it, you analyse it, but then you're on to the next game. And we've got a game on Sunday, so that's the total focus now.
You mentioned that word mentality, and obviously we've spoken about the games you've got coming up, Tottenham and then Roma again. With such a young squad again, as you've mentioned, how do you create that mentality, or what do you look for in those players that says to you that they are ready for this kind of week coming up?
Well, it's how we work. It's not just something that happens in the games. It happens on your day-to-day life and how you prepare. You know, your work every day is to be involved in big games. And I said when I first came in, I wanted to create a culture here where you were going right the way through to the end of the season with things up for grabs, and rather than just sit, with nothing to play for. So it's a culture that you develop and grow that mentality every single day, and then seeing the players improve and develop, and then take those performances into the games, and also winning some big games, big important games. So that clearly develops it. So it's a constant. You're constantly looking to develop and improve the football game, but also your mentality, and that just comes through experience.
And is it difficult to not have too much of an eye on next Thursday with obviously this huge game?
No, to be honest, after last night, I'm watching the game. You draw in under that, and then there's just a straight line connection to Tottenham, and that is it. That is the only thinking. I respect every single game that we play. We fight for the points. Well, we're going to have a lot of supporters that will travel down to there as well. So we have a duty to give everything we can to them, and that's our focus.
Thanks, Brendan. Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, all. We'll finish this section with Owen from Radio Leicester.
Hi, Owen. Okay.
You mentioned Jamie Vardy already. I wonder when you're analysing him, how far away he is from being able to play 90 minutes, and how careful at the moment you have to be with the minutes that you're able to give him to get him back up to the speed that you need him for.
I don't know. It's not just about playing 90 minutes. You have to perform. He might be ready to play 90 minutes, but if he's not at the level, then he will come off. So it's not just about fitness, it's about performance. You have to perform well to play. But I think with Jamie, it's just about giving him that chance from a fitness perspective to be able to perform to the highest level that he can. He's only been back training a few days. I think he's done absolutely amazing to get back and play the 20-25 minutes that he did against Villa, and then short turnaround to play an hour last night. So it's just something that's ongoing. You'll have to recover well now, and then we have to decide if it's too much of a risk to involve him at the weekend to start, or bring him into the game, or keep him fresh for Thursday. So, but there's so many aspects to it. It's not just about being fit to ready to play 90 minutes. You've got to be able to play in and perform.
With that in mind, not with just Jamie, but with the rest of the squad as well, how important does that make the rotation for this weekend in another games, but also having that depth of squad back again, so that you can have those players performing for the full amount of time they can at the level that you want them to do?
Yeah, it's so important that to be able to bring our intensity into the game, because we play a technical game, and coaches and managers will tell you to play a technical game, you have to be really fit and you have to be able to run. And so in order to do that, you need that freshness. And if you have the squad that we're now starting to get back for the first time in the season, then you start to see the levels that we can play to. So yeah, I'm delighted for the players. Every player has had an opportunity virtually over these last numbers of weeks to come in and perform. And in the main, they performed to a good level.
This weekend in Tottenham, what have you made of them specifically under Antonio Conte as well? I know you mentioned the way they break out from that 5-at-the-back formation into a more attacking 3-4-3. What have you made to them sort of tactically, and where will those key battlegrounds be this weekend?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think they're very well coached in the system that Antonio plays. And we played in that 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 at times. So in the main, when you play that system, it's difficult to put real pressure high up the pitch, you know. So normally you'd see them drop into a mid to lower position on the field, which allows you the chance to build through the pitch and take the game into their half. So I would suspect, without having any games in the midweek and us playing, he might want to then come and really press and be aggressive in the game. And then we have to be able to play through that pressure. So, but it's a beautiful pitch. It's a lovely pitch to play your football. We know they have quality, but they will also know that we have quality as well. And hopefully we can bring our A game to it. And like I say, they're a good side. He's had time to coach, which is important. You come into a club, knew he's had some of the European games and some of the cup games, but they've had a free run for quite a while now. So one game a week, you can get that coaching qualities. Clearly an outstanding coach, Antonio, and you can see that in the team. So